Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of our Android voice recorder application tutorial. In the previous part, we designed the UI of our application with the view pager, and today we are going to work on the recorder fragment to record our audio. So let's get started. At first, we'll work on the XML file of our fragment recorder. So here at first I'll delete this text view that was for test purpose, and here the background is black. I'll change the orientation of this linear layout to vertical. I'll give this a total weight sum of 4, and then inside this linear layout I'm going to create another linear layout, and for the width of this I'll pass match parent. For the height I'll pass 0 dp because I'll be setting a layout weight for this to 3. Okay, and we need to also add some attributes like the orientation of this linear layout will be vertical, and I'll also set the gravity of this layout android:gravity to center. And similar to this linear layout, I'll just copy this again under this, and here I'll set the weight to 1. So now as you can see, we divided our parent layout to two parts. This is the upper part and this is the lower part. So here we'll put some views. At first let's add a text view here. For the width I'll pass match parent, and for the height I'll pass wrap content here. I'll give this text view an ID also. I'll call this txt recording status. I'll apply gravity to here center, and then I'll change the text size of this text view to 32 sp, and I'll also change the text color to color white. Let's select that, and then I'll apply a margin to the top of this view of 20 dp. And now under this text view we'll set a GIF image view here. I actually wanted to add a audio visualizer while recording, but actually I couldn't get the audio session ID with the media recorder class. So if any one of you gets the audio recorder audio session ID for the media recorder, then please do let me know in the comments. So here I'll add the GIF image view, and for the GIF image view we need to add a library here. So I'll go to the app level Gradle file, and here I need to paste that library or the dependency. So I'll give the dependency in the description. From there you can copy and paste it here, and then click on sync now. Once it's done, we'll go back to our fragment recorder, and here under this text view I'll pass the GIF image view. Okay, the GIF image view, and here for the width I'll pass match parent, and for the height I'll pass, let's say, wrap content. Okay, now we need to also give this GIF image view an ID. I'll call this, let's say, GIF view. And now for the GIF image here I'll be using this GIF image. I'll give the download link of these files in the description. Here I have a GIF image and some icons for our record and play and pause. So in the description you will get the download link for them. I'll just copy all of this and paste it inside the drawable folder. Drawable refactor. Okay, so here we have all the icons and the GIF file. So I'll set the source image here as @drawable/visual. Okay, and by default I'll set its visibility to gone because we'll only show this GIF image while recording. Alright, now under this GIF image view we need to also add a chronometer to show the time of recording. So I'll add the chronometer here, and for the width and height of this chronometer I'll pass wrap content. Let's give this chronometer an ID also. I'll call this time rec. I'll set the text color of the chronometer to color white. I'll change the text size of this to 30 sp. I'll change the text alignment to center, and I'll also add a margin to this layout margin of 20 dp. Okay, so now we are done with the upper part of our layout. Now inside the second linear layout, where the weight is 1, here we'll add just a button. So here I'm going to add a image button. For the width and height of this button, I'll pass 70 dp and 70 dp. Let's give this image button an ID also. I'll call this btn rec. And then here, to put this button at the top and center, I'll change the gravity to center horizontal. Okay, so it's now here. And now we need to make this image button a circular image button, and to do this we need to define a custom layout for that. So for this, I'll go to drawable, and here I'll create a new drawable resource file. I'll call this round_btn, and here I'll change the selector to ripple, and it's showing error because we need to define the color here. So for the color, I'm going to pass this cyan color that we created, color/cyan. And now inside this ripple attribute, I'll add a item, and for the item I'll pass a shape. So the shape will be oval. Now inside this shape, I'll pass a solid color. So for the solid color, I'll pass color cyan. So that's our drawable file. Now let's go back to the fragment recorder again, and here for the background of this button, I'll pass @drawable/round button that we created. So here now we got a nice round button. Okay, so here at first, for the source image, I'll pass @drawable/ic_record. Okay, let's change the scale type to center, and also give this button a margin of, let's say, 15 dp. All right, so now we are done with the layout design of our fragment recorder. Now let's go to the recorder fragment class, and here at first I'll define all the views here. So at first we have our image button, which is button rec, and then we have our text view, which is txt rec status, and then we have a chronometer. I'll call this time of rec, and then we also have a gif image view. So I'll call this gif view. Okay, and then okay, we don't have anything else. So now here, for the recording purpose, we need to create some other variables here. So at first I'm going to create a string to store the file name. So private static string, I'll call this file name, and then we need to create a media recorder to record our audio. So I'll create a private media recorder. I'll call this recorder, and then we need also a boolean value to switch between recording and stop recording. So I'll take a boolean value. I'll call this is recording. All right, and then we also need to define a path to store our recording files. So in this application, what I'm going to do is I'll define a file inside our internal storage. So when we will record a audio, it will create a new folder inside our external or the internal storage, and it will save the recording file inside that particular folder. So let's quickly define the path for that. So I'll create a file, I'll call this path. Okay, it's showing error, please press alt enter. Okay, and here I'll create a new file, and for the path I'll pass environment dot get external storage directory. If you get this environment dot get external storage directory as deprecated, you can also use the path that I used in my File Explorer application tutorial. You will get that in the description below, the link of that video. Okay, and here I'll get the absolute path of this internal storage, and inside the internal storage we need to create a folder for our application. So I'll create a new folder here. I need to add a slash before, and here you can set the folder name that you want to create. So in this example, let's call the folder as v recorder. All right, so this is our file path. Now we need to define these views inside our onCreateView method. So here I'm going to add at first the button record equals view dot find view by id r dot id dot btnrec, and then for the text view txt recording status equals view dot find view by id r dot id dot txt recording status, and then for the gif image view equals view dot find view by id, find view by id r dot id dot gif view, maybe it was okay. And then we need to define the chronometer. So the chronometer was time rec equals view dot find view by id r dot id dot time rec. Okay, so we have defined all the views here, and at the start we'll set this is recording to false. So I'll set the is recording equals false here. All right, and now we need to ask the runtime permission to access the internal storage, and we'll also need permission to access the microphone to record audio. So let's actually at first define these permissions inside our manifest file. So here I'll write uses permission, and I'll add read external storage. Okay, and then I'll add uses permission write external storage, and thirdly we need to add the record audio. All right, so here are these three permissions that we need. Now we can go back to the recorder fragment class, and here I'll add a method to ask the runtime permission. So I'll call ask runtime permission, and I'll create that method here. And now for the runtime permission handling, I'll be using a library called Dexter. Okay, this one, and I'll give the link of this library in the description. From there you can visit this link and copy this dependency here and go back to Android Studio to the app level Gradle file, and here I'll paste this dependency and click on sync now. So once it's done, we'll go back to the recorder fragment here, and here I'll call Dexter dot with context, and here I'll pass the context get context, dot with permissions, and here I'll write our three permissions, which is manifest dot permission dot read external storage, and the second one was manifest dot permission dot write external storage, and the third one is manifest dot permission dot record audio. All right, and then I'll write dot with listener, and here I'll create a new multiple permissions listener. So as you can see here, I got two methods. So in the second method we are getting this permission token, so here I'll write permission token dot continue permission request, and for the on permission checked, let's show a toast message saying permission granted, or let's say granted. All right, and outside here we need to write dot check. Okay, so our runtime permission is now done. Now we will set up the other variables to save our file. So here, in order to save the file in the folder, what we need to do, we need to give all the files a unique name. So what I have thought is, we will name our recording files, our each and every recording files, with the recording date and time. So let's quickly implement this. So for this I'll create a simple date format object. I'll call this format, and I'll create a new simple date format, and here for the pattern I'll pass year, then month, then day, and then underscore hour, minute, and seconds. So that will get a unique time for each of the recordings. And then for the local, I'll pass local dot get default. All right, and now we need to create a string with the formatted date. So I'll create a string called, let's say, date, and where I'll call format dot format, and here I'll pass a new date to get the current date and time. And now we'll set the file name that we want to save. So for the file name I'll pass our path so that it saves inside the path, and it will save the file as recording underscore, and then it will add the date that we are getting with the particular format that we defined here, and then at the end we will write .amr, because we are going to save our recording as .amr format. All right, and now we need to create the path inside our internal storage. So here I'll add a if block, and here I'll check if the path doesn't exist. I'll add a not here. So if it finds that this particular path doesn't exist in our storage, then it will create that particular folder. So let path dot make directory. So our folder creation is now done. Now we can perform our audio recording. So for the audio recording we will define two methods. So let's define them here. At first, to start the recording, I'll create a method called start recording. So private void start recording, and here I'll pass I'll initialize our recorder. So recorder equals new media recorder, as we're using the media recorder class, and I have told you that I couldn't get the audio session ID from the media recorder. If any one of you gets that, please let me know in the comment section. And then I'll set the audio source for our recorder to recorder dot set audio source, and for the audio source we'll use the phone's microphone. So media recorder dot audio source dot mic. All right, and then we'll set the output format. So recorder dot set output format, and here I'll pass media recorder dot output format, and the format will be AMRNB. Okay, and now we will set the output file for our recording. So recorder dot set output file, and here I'll pass the file name. And finally we need to set a audio encoder for our recorder. So recorder dot set audio encoder, and for the encoder I'll pass media recorder dot audio encoder dot AMR underscore NB. And after that we can start our media recorder. So I'll call recorder dot prepare. It's showing error here. Okay, so we need to surround this with try catch. All right, we have this recorder.prepare here, and outside of this try catch block I'll start our recorder. So recorder.start. So this is our start recording method here, and similarly for the stop recording I'll create another method, private void stop recording, and inside the stop recording we'll just call the recorder.stop stop, and here I'll call recorder.release, so it dismisses the voice recorder, and then we'll set the recorder to null. Okay, so these are our start recording and stop recording method. Now we'll call them inside the on-click listener for our image button. So we'll create the on-click listener for our button recording here. Outside of this if statement I'll write button recording dot set on click listener new view dot on click listener, and inside here I'll check for our boolean value. So if is recording is false, then we'll start our recording. So I'll call start recording. Actually it will be safer if we set this inside a try catch block. So I'll create a try block here, and here I'll call this start recording, and inside this while the recording will be started we'll show our GIF image view. So I'll call our GifView dot set visibility to visible, and then we also need to start our chronometer. So I'll set up the chronometer time rec dot set base, and here we'll start it to the system clock dot elapsed real time, and then I'll call the time recording dot start. And the reason I wrote here this base is because the chronometer by default it starts on the creation of the fragment or the activity, but in this application I want to start the chronometer while we click on the button record, so that's why we need to set the base here. And then we need to add a text inside our txt recording status. So we can set text here as recording. Okay, and then we will also change the background image of our button recording to the stop icon. So I'll write button rec dot set image resource, and here I'll pass the IC stop. So r dot id dot ic, sorry, it will be r dot drawable dot ic underscore stop. All right, and finally at the end we'll set our is recording to true. Is recording equals true. All right, and for the outside of the try block we need to add a catch block also. So I'll call this exception e, and inside this I'll write e dot print stack trace. We can also show a toast message here. let's pass get context, and I'll pass couldn't record. Okay, so now we are done with this if block. So now let's define a else if statement also for the is recording is true. So inside here, what I'm going to do is I'll call the stop recording. So I'll pass stop recording, and then we also need to set the visibility of our GIF image view to invisible. So GifView dot set visibility equal view dot gone, and then we need to also stop our chronometer. So time recorder dot set base, and here we'll again call the system clock dot elapsed real time, and then I'll call time recorder dot stop. Okay, and finally we'll remove the text from the text recording status dot set text. I'll just put a empty string here, and then I'll change the icon of our button record to the previous icon. So button record dot set image resource r dot drawable dot ic underscore record. Alright, and at the end I'll set the is recording to false again. Okay, so that's it for our recorder fragment. Now let's try to run this in our phone and see if it really saves a recording file in our internal storage or not. As you can see, our app is now installed and it's asking for the permission. Let me grant them, and here is our application. Now let's click on this button to start a recording. So it's recording. Hello everyone, I am Ivan and I am recording this from my application. So let's stop this now. Okay, so it's now stopped, and we won't have any recording here because we haven't implemented it yet. So let's go to the file manager to see if it saved our recording or not. So here we are in the file manager. Let's refresh this, and here, as you can see, we have a folder called vrecorder that we defined in our code, and inside here we have this .amr file. Let's try to play this.
First recording. Hello everyone, I am Ivan and I am recording this from my application.
Okay, it's pretty weird to hear your own voice in a recording. Okay, so that's it for the video. Our app is working and it's recording audio quite fine. So in the next part we will implement the recordings fragment, where we will show all the recordings inside that particular folder in a recycler view, and we will also be able to open them. So thank you for watching, and if you have any confusion regarding this video, then you can comment down below.